Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stadia Party Chat Podcast, episode 26. We're coming at you on January 9th, 2022. I'm here with my super co-host, as always, Sebastian. How's it
How you
going?
doing? Good, yourself?
Can't
Going well?
complain.
Yeah,
I'm
happy
keeping
new
warm.
year.
Happy New Year to you
Yeah,
as well.
so that's amazing. A new year, new things coming up. So
Yeah, absolutely. Lots to look forward to. Can't wait for all the new things that's coming this year. We know that Stadia has said 400 games over the next couple years. So far, they've delivered on, I think, 150 of those 400 games. So
mhm,
we should be seeing a lot more titles coming over the next 2022 and 2023.
mhm.
So look forward to seeing a lot more titles being ramped out here.
Yeah, they're probably gonna release another 100 game for this year, and then for 2023 the same thing, so that they achieve their 400. But who knows? Every year they've been surpassing the amount of game they release. So it's good though. It's expanding even more the library. And if you still a Stadia Pro from the beginning, you must have like so many games to play on now, which is
Oh
good.
my god,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there's somebody keeping track. I think his name is in lead or something like that on Twitter, and he's got this ongoing stat, and it's just it's pretty insane because they show you how much game time you have on all of these games in the story mode and how much money these are all costing retail versus like your Stadia Pro membership. So it's really a cool little tool to go and look at.
Hmm.
See, I'm sorry I didn't share the 400 games. That was just kind of in the back of my head, but I shared the article with you there where it was talking about an interview with Jack Buser back in, I think it was 2020, where he was talking by the time 2023 comes around they'll have 400 titles on Stadia.
There we go. That's awesome. I believe it when they say they're gonna have 400 because they just cite a new game coming up every month, and now they're expanding it a bit more to get more AAA games. So hopefully 2022 is gonna be the year for Stadia, where they're gonna expand more into those AAA game from the different publishers. So that'll be
And what we
cool.
see too is 200 developers, which is, oh my god, I didn't even know there was 200 developers. So I mean, I think we're seeing a bit of a slow start to this new year, but I could just see week after week we're getting games dropped
Hmm.
on the platform. They were doing a pretty good job of that last year, and maybe that's why they set up the blog every other week. Maybe is to keep that flow coming every sort of fortnight, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And then like the fact that they didn't mention anything yet, probably next week or even this week, they're probably gonna come up with something, their goal for the year, and yeah, we'll see, I guess.
So yeah, we jump into a little bit of news, I guess,
Yeah.
off on a tangent. But yeah, we've been off for a week or so because of holidays, and there was sort of everyone taking a break on the news side. We're actually coming at you with a bit of a shortened show.
Yeah.
Not too much news coming this week, especially with no TWAB just yet. Uh, but but Nads, what have you been gaming on this week?
So I had a chance to play on some of the game in the past 2 weeks. So we play Outrider together. We play some Destiny. I play some Bloodstain and some Far Cry 6. So a bit of everything. But let's start with Outrider if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
We played together. So the Outrider was on sale. So that's one of the main reasons why we started playing. And then they had the update 1.3 recently, which fixed a lot of the issues. And now the game on Stadia is on par. So if you're not sure what's Outriders, it's like a looter shooter similar to if you take was it Gears of War and merge it with like some Destiny and what's the other game we were talking about?
Well, I was saying, and just my analogy for it was what Bungie did to Halo and made it into Destiny. This is sort of the evolution of Gears of War into
Yeah.
Outriders, sort of that leveling up aspect, but you're still playing a cover shooter
Mhm.
with the various ad types. I think there's about 3 different ad types.
Yeah, exactly. So that was pretty fun. I think I like the story. Currently the game is still very new. I found that like when we finish the story, there's a lot of grinding to level up. That was one of the thing I was like, yeah, okay, maybe we're gonna go back to it when they have something else. But the end game currently doesn't have much from what I can see. But like maybe eventually they're gonna develop more into it. The other thing I found too is like sometimes it was a little bit buggy. I think it was within the game. The game wasn't running perfectly on Stadia. Even when you start the game, the animation you get at the beginning, it's like kind of laggy. I don't know if it's too demanding or there's still like some coding that need to be fixed within Stadia for the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, I myself got maybe less lag when it comes to gameplay. I did get some lag when it came to videos. I know that there was a lot of certain parts that didn't mesh with the voices or it just kind of jumped. And the one thing I did notice on my end was I would get a series of like, oops, you've just been booted, or
Yeah,
an error occurred, and I'd get like a little Stadia warning.
lost
Uh,
connection or
but other
something.
than that, I found the gameplay to be fairly smooth. The one aspect is sort of what you touched on is that the end game for it is just a grind and it's not a very fun grind. So I've almost basically checked out of that. And like yourself, I think I'll just wait until hopefully they introduce something new
Mhm.
to spice it up. Spice out getting struck by lightning should be cooler in the end game. Come on.
Yeah, and then also I think they mentioned they come out with a DLC this year, so in 2022. So
World Slayer.
yeah, so that should be interesting. Maybe it's gonna be another story add-on. Maybe it's gonna be more end game add-on. I'm not exactly sure. So yeah. But yeah, what one thing I found is that if you like the story to redo it, you can either go back within the same character or you create a new character, a new subclass or whatever you call it in this game. So like you try a different technique and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but a little disappointing. Wish you could switch in between subclasses.
Mm.
It just sort of limits the experience, but I guess they're really pushing the replayability at the same time, and it's hard to balance both. I
Mhm.
just hate being sectioned off and having to do so much grinding if I want to have fun with another subclass.
Exactly. And the other thing I found is that there's the population is not very high over there. Like I found like if you add your privacy open so people can join you, not all the time they were joining, or like if you're running a game like end game part where you do the grinding, not all the time you will find people. So yeah, it makes like the gameplay harder, right?
Or
So
they're not always reliable and leave in the middle of it. Like you and
yeah.
I thought we had a third and they just decided to leave.
Yeah, and make the game way harder. I think at tier
Yeah.
10 we were on, so yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it about Outrider. Very fun to play overall. The mechanic is working super great, but like we're just waiting for more stuff. But if you haven't played it yet, then it's still on sale on Stadia. I would suggest it though, because the thing was $20, so it was pretty cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. No,
Um,
I enjoyed the experience. And as a single standalone game, like from story beginning to end, it was cool to play co-op. And like the gameplay like was a lot of fun.
mhm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
No, definitely. The other game I played was Bloodstain. So Bloodstain is a Metrovania game. It came out So it came on Stadia Pro in December. Very fun game if you haven't tried it yet. It's a side scroller, but like Metrovania, and basically the story, there's a little bit of a story there. You have to help your friend, like there's one of your friend that became evil. He was corrupted or something. So he's your protagonist or the big boss basically.
Mhm.
And you have to fight him into that castle. So just right at the start, like a castle having a big boss, it sounds like Castlevania totally. But yeah, so you just go around, there's a bunch of secret in the castle, and you got to increase your power. You're collecting those shards from the demons, which are are the enemy that you found in the castle. You collect the shards, and then you can use them as power. And you got different type of power. You got like one it's like a conjurer, another one's passive, another one is like directional, and there's like a familiar you can have like to help you out. Uh, yeah, I found it was pretty fun to play. Pretty easy to play also. And yeah, fun game. I completed it all. Not completely 100%. I'm still missing some stuff, but it gets to the point where it's just farming now, and I don't feel like it. So spending hours just like farming the same ad just to get like the item you need to increase your percentage of completion. Yeah, it became like redundant at the end, but like overall the game is fun. There's a lot of secret to find, a lot of like secret boss, so that was pretty cool. Really like it. I think you started playing it too.
Yeah, I jumped in. I have to say, coming out of a game like Grime, I was missing the intense combat, the being able to parry and um counter and dodge in unique ways. The game to me sort of seemed arcadey with its sort of ads kind of jumping on the screen with the squids. um the combat was not easy at all when I came to the boss, though. There was no way to predict where those tentacles were coming or going. And the thing with that as well, which I noticed, was there was no sort of HP like level on the boss. Like I could never see how much health the boss had. So it was kind of like a guessing game
Exactly, yeah.
on the health. I don't know if that changes as you go on. I have since sort of carry on and went on to explore different areas. It's not like I'm super against it. It's just I came from Grime and I just want more Grime.
Yeah, it's like a slight difference in terms of gameplay. Only
Yeah.
dodge you have, it's like a back step, so.
I hate the backstep. I like give me anything like why can't you just block? And if you block at a certain time, it does a parry. Like why is that not thought of? Like
You can. It just you can with certain weapon. That's what it is. So you
oh
got those technique you gotta learn. So certain weapon give you different technique. Let's say you use a certain
yeah.
katana that can do that block and does a parry and does a counter attack
But is it a
basically.
one button counter or am I gonna
No,
have to
it's
no,
like
I'm gonna have to do a
forward
twirl with
forward
the yeah.
X. Yeah. So it's slightly different. It's like
Unsubscribe.
those it's like those different combo that create a technique basically. So
No,
but
it's cool. It has its
mm,
aspects. It's a different gameplay. I just have to like adjust a little bit to it.
yeah, I got a little bit into it and I finished it off, and I'm pretty happy about this game overall. It's a new game. It's been out for a while now, but like very fun that it came on Stadia and had the chance to try it out.
Yeah, 505 has had a couple releases on Stadia. They've had Dead by Daylight. They've also done Terraria. They did Control. Just looking at this list, I could really see perhaps another one of these guys coming on to Stadia. Like, couldn't you see Payday coming to Stadia, for
Never know.
instance?
Yeah, never know. Like it's possible. I think there's Payday 1 and 2, right? So
Yeah,
I know
Payday
the
2.
older game, but like maybe they're gonna come out with a third one.
Stadia's
Like,
not afraid to add an older game.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that game we got for January, would the Shanties
Shanty, yeah.
risky. Oh my
That's not
goodness.
new at all.
No, I did not prepare myself for how old those graphics were going to be.
And I think it's a remake from a Game Boy game. They
Yeah.
put it back onto a console, and now it's like a little bit dated, but for anybody that's like a fan of it, I think they will like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving on, the next game I played was Far Cry 6. So we got back into it. We did some co-op together.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I continue my storyline to up a little bit today and yesterday. I a little bit got into it now, like I'm more a little bit ahead in the game. Like, you know, I just go around, snipe everybody, not being detected, I have a penter now, send out my penter to go attack. And yeah, it's pretty fun. I just like the sneaky part of it. Yeah. I usually mostly use a sniper or rifle with
Mhm.
a silencer on it. And yeah, I've been liking it. I think so far it's pretty good. The only issue I found is that sometimes you'll clear an area and suddenly there will be an enemy popping behind you. I don't know if you've seen that before. You see on the map, there's like a yellow circle. I think mine is like on the colorblind one. So like it show a yellow circle where the enemy is, around the enemy is. So
Mhm.
it's been popping up behind me. So there's no like way for me to retreat and then just push back afterwards. I have to clear where I came from or something. So yeah, I found like you mentioned, it's like a Ubisoft game, so it has the same concept as pretty much as all their games. They use the same recipe almost. They just add new flavor to it. So but yeah, there's a lot of to collect around some activity, built up your camp and stuff. So yeah, probably gonna be playing for a little while until Destiny get more stuff, more activity. And talking of which, Destiny 2, it's something else we play a little bit. Didn't play that much. I think the most I've done is help out my brother-in-law to start in his new character, his new adventure. It can become very overwhelming for a new player to jump into Destiny 2 right now with
Mhm.
like all 4 season, with like 4 second being free to play, but like going away in February. Yeah,
Oh, there's a
so
lot of content for a new player.
exactly. And I also have seen that some people that start playing, they just jump on the Dares of an Eternity right from the start, but their light levels at 1100, but the Dares an Eternity require 1250, I think. So everybody start like very low level. They spend hours trying to finish it. They think it's just part of the intro. People were just jumping in at low level just to get their gears up after to help out all the new players and new lights. So I think Rick Kakis and Paul Tassi mentioned about that in their article, but yeah, it was pretty funny. Um, a little bug there that I think Bungie didn't expect, but and they didn't have any TWAB for this week, so hopefully last week, so hopefully this week they will have one on Thursday. So yeah, I
Cool.
can I can jump into what I want to talk in replacement of the TWAB. So we have the crafting system coming up in February 22nd. We have Witch Queen and they're coming introducing the crafting system. Um, I'm just hoping I listened to the video from Cross and he pointed out some of the same idea I think I had. Uh, the fact that you could craft a weapon, so you either need to acquire the weapon, dismantle it, and then you're gonna be able to craft it. And every time you get the same weapon but with different perk, if you dismantle it, you get those perk added for your crafting. So hopefully that's becoming like that. Hopefully it's going to be reducing a lot of the grind too for a weapon. And it's going to reduce the amount of weapon you need to have in the vault. Let's say like you have like any weapon, like you have this end cannon, try to remember the name there. Else
The IS Luna.
IS Luna, there you go. Let's say you have the IS Luna and you have uh, you only have like the 4 perk or 6 perk in there, and then you get a new one, and with the perk you don't have, you dismantle it and it show up into all the other LS Luna. So like this, you can switch it to it. So hopefully at the end, it's gonna be within the tab, the detailed tab of the weapon, you're gonna be able to change to whatever perk you want. It's not gonna be necessarily limited to like, oh, you need to recraft the weapon with those perk. It's a little bit like the same way that Destiny 1 system had, where like they had all the perk on there and you can change it. But to get to that point, you need to get those perk on the weapon.
Right.
So it could be that. So like this, the crafting, or the other way I can see it coming is that now you're gonna do the GM to get weapon parts to do your crafting. Let's say you want an adept swarm or something like that. You need to do that GM to get the adept like part required to build the swarm as an adept. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it's not gonna be like that, because then it's just replacing this the grinding. So I don't know. What's your thought on the crafting system?
I could see it. Perhaps you get a weapon and you dismantle it, and you randomly get, one of those perks, and you can reuse it sort of one time. Perhaps still be a use for mod components. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll make you use mod components to sort of add mods into your weapons. It could be
Mm.
something there. I mean, why do they keep giving it to you over and over again?
I know I
Um,
got 6,000 of them, so let me use them or something.
uh, that would be my biggest thought. I could see the grinding, and you grind all that way to get sort of one high impact reserve that you can use again on a weapon.
Mhm.
um could come out in a couple different ways, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna see in February 22nd, or maybe
6 weeks.
Bungie. Yeah, maybe Bungie is gonna talk about it on one of the TWAB just to prepare us. Because the other thing coming up is the reformat of the Void subclass. So that they,
3.0.
yeah, they mentioned before. So it's gonna be looking similar to Stasis, but it's gonna be Void. So I can't wait to see how it's gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be OP at first, like Stasis was, and they're gonna reduce it after that. There's gonna be some manipulation happening, that's for sure.
Yeah, they won't get it right the first time, if we know Bungie.
If they do, that's gonna be good on them, but they need to run more testing before they release something. But yeah, that's pretty much what's coming for Destiny the next little while. So hopefully we get more news in the coming weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, but we definitely will see a TWAB coming up this Thursday, so that's good news. And I'm sure with 6 weeks until Witch Queen, they'll do nothing but talk about Witch Queen.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's hope and ask them for more vault space, because I was reading, the last time we got vault space was before our time. It was 2018. The vault got expanded by 200 spaces.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
It was a trend.
4 years ago. 4 years
And
ago.
they keep adding weapons, so
And then with Witch Queen, we're gonna get the new season's weapons, plus we're gonna get the whole DLC's weapons, plus oh my god, it's
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So either like their crafting system's gonna be reducing the amount of weapon we require to own the vault space, or they're gonna have to change the whole thing. Or add more space. Because right now I went through, because I always top up at 500. I think I'm back to 400 now. I just need to re-filter through. I went through all the weapon, any weapon that has the same type of weapon. Let's say auto rifle, high impact or something. I will like go through all of them and verify which one I want to keep. Some of them like had better rolls. Some of them they were like, yeah, I kept it so I had one. I was like, no, just delete it. So there's a lot of weapon I deleted that yeah, like I don't need to keep them. Like if I haven't used it in so long, there's no point.
Yeah,
So
that's why I feel like the truest sort of counter for me now is the kill counter. I
mm,
wish it sort of showed both PvE and PvP, where you sort of have to make your choice in the sand and keep with it. But it kind of just gives me an idea of like if I really use the weapon, if I don't use the weapon, how much I use it. So that's a good one to keep up. Just always throw that counter on so you get an idea.
yeah, you have an idea of how much you use it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I was looking at my salvo the other day. I've almost hit 10k kills
Oh
on it
yeah,
for
nice.
enemies.
That's good. I know it's
Yeah.
like Grain Launch always use either salvo or what's the other one? There's another one I use in PvP all the time. I got a gut roll. It's like auto loading and everything. So
Oh, the
really
void
like it.
one.
Void one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the kinetic side, I like to use Widow Ord. Widow Ord is still like a amazing gun. So yeah,
All right. Well,
cool. Let's move to the
let's
news.
jump into some news.
Hmm.
So, the one story I was able to squeak out this new year, Rainbow Six Extraction. Ubisoft gives us a deep dive into their game. So they tell us about the archetypes of their enemies, and then they give you a breakdown on the strategies on which you can use to take down the various ad types. So we're talking bleachers and bloaters. Those are sort of the first ones they give you a look at. These are sort of, if you're talking Destiny, like squeebers. What do we even call them? The sort of things that just run at you in kamikaze and
Yeah, yeah,
explode.
yeah. The new one, they changed it for the GM for this season, right? This little
Yeah.
squeeber.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they've given you two types here in Rainbow Six, and one is more of like a kinetic blast damage, and the other is sort of a blinding poison gas. And so they give you tips on, hey, if you use this operator, you can sort of disable them, or you can go this route and sort of take them out and leave their sacks, and blow them up for later to kill other enemies. So they give you sort of like a real breakdown and helpful tips on all of these sort of enemies. I go into three different types. So they have this enemy type called the sower, and this enemy charges at you with its head. So it's not something you can just sort of pick your its head off, because that's sort of its strongest area. So the idea is to take it out passively by leaving claymores or arc mines to disrupt it during its patrol. So these are sort of the strategies they're trying to ingrain to people. So I guess they don't get flattened by all the different types of aliens you're going to be seeing. Ad types like the lurker is invisible. In addition, he makes other ads invisible. And so the strategy as well is you have to melee him, or else his skin is bulletproof as well as being invisible.
Damn.
So once you melee, only then is the critical spot exposed. And then they say, use an IQ operator, because this character. Oh, sorry, we have someone at our door, is great in these sort of situations. So it's interesting. And I guess if you're more familiar with Rainbow Six Siege, they're going to be bringing in these operators and putting them, I guess, into new scenarios. Sort of interesting aspect, sort of evolution of a game, really.
Hmm.
Very interesting to take a PvP and throw it into the PvE world.
Exactly. I wonder if it's gonna merge somehow. Like I guess like extraction is gonna be his own game. But yeah, that should be interesting. I can't wait to see that. Mm.
Yeah, you can check out the video. It's 10 minutes long. They go into all the different ad types. Those are just three. You can see the rooter, the smasher, the archaean nests. There's sludge enemies, tormentors, spores, an enemy type called the apex, and finally one of the coolest ones, the protean. So the protean is a manifestation of this alien, the alien goo or whatever. It's like all like alien flesh and stuff, and basically
Mm.
what it's done is it's created a Rainbow Six operator
Oh my
out of,
god.
and it's evil and it's alien, and like it teleports everywhere, it like shoots at you, it has devices and stuff. It's pretty cool looking. I look forward to exploring the story and really getting my teeth deep into this one when it comes out January 20th.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
Yeah, I think 10-11 days.
Uh-huh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That should be fun. And I think because you bought the game, I can play with you for free or something like that. I encourage people to invite their friends in the game.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how it works with Ubisoft Plus. They didn't go into super detail, but I'm sure I will receive a code if I think that's, they say you get a code that you can give to people. But yeah, we'll get on there for sure.
Oh yeah, that's
The
gonna be
buddy
fun.
code.
Awesome. Yeah,
Um
pretty
yeah, so
excited for
check it
that
out.
game.
Deep dive. And yeah, it just gets you more hyped up for the game. So it's great that they go and do that. And even though it is delayed by a couple months, hopefully they were able to really polish it off and make it great for the release.
Mm.
So what do we got next on the news stories here? Well, we have the Ember game mode. Am I right in that?
Mhm.
Is that what we're talking about next? The hoser?
Yeah, so Ember has like a new secret Ozer. Yeah. Game mode release on for Ember. So if you play that game, you get a new mode. I haven't tried a game yet. I don't think it's is it part of the Stadia Pro? You
Yeah.
know? It
Yeah, I think
is?
it
Oh.
is. I think it is.
It's just another game I went over. That I noticed that the add like a lot of feature to that game lately, so it's good. Um
Yeah, I'm trying
yeah.
to see now if we had it.
Yeah,
Uh
I claim it. Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
then we should probably try it and test it out. So they
It's the
added new game.
firefighting sim, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With
There's another
cartoons.
firefighter sim like coming up. It's gonna be more RTS type, but like this one looked like more like a shooter. Make me think of the similar gameplay as the not the similar, but the graphic are similar to the one that you have to move item and stuff like that. That makes sense. But yeah, probably worth to give a try and test it out. So a new game mode for the Ember. So even though it's like free to play for Stadia Pro, um, they still like providing a lot of support to that game. So that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next there is the Samsung Gaming Hub. And
Hmm.
that's the hub that they released that sort of gives cloud diversity, right? One place to play all the clouds.
Yeah, you can have access to apps like GeForce Now, and I think eventually
No, Luna's on there, right?
Luna. Yeah, that's what I was like
Stadia.
about Stadia for sure. But like, yeah, you can access all of them. So you have like a gaming hub, and it's coming for selected TV. So all the 2022 Samsung TV coming out is going to be having the app for Stadia. I don't know if they're going to have that gaming hub for all of them, but at least that's a start. Because like last month we had LG TV coming out, the app for Stadia. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have a LG more than your one, you can access to that via your TV app. And then now like Samsung is jumping on board. So it's going to provide more access to people. It's quite simple. My brother-in-law setup is he had his Xbox controller connected to his TV via Bluetooth and he was able to play Stadia. That was just simple, right? So
Awesome.
yeah. I gave him a Stadia controller because his Xbox was had an issue with his is Jack for like talking to us. So like I
Mm-hmm.
gave him like one of my Stadia controller so he can
Oh,
actually talk
okay.
to us. Yeah. Because he said, oh, my controller, I think it has some issue. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Here we go. But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that he was still thinking he had to plug something into the TV. And I was like, no, you just download the app. And then, but he's like,
It's
how do I
serious.
connect the controller? I was like, it's gonna go through your Wi-Fi. But he was like, he didn't get it. It was like, oh, just follow the step on your phone. It's gonna tell you. But like some people don't understand the concept. They still think you need to connect to a specific hardware, right? So
Yeah, it's like if you went back 1,000 years and showed somebody a lighter.
mhm. They
This is
like,
how
do you have to rub piece of wood before you do that, or smash some rocks
this
together?
is how people are interacting with cloud gaming. They're like, but what? In the cloud? What do you mean?
Yeah.
No consoles? Magic? She's a witch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I still talk to people about this, about Stadia, and they still like don't really understand how it works. I'm like, oh yeah, I just play on my PC. They're like, oh, do you have to download something? No, no, open the browser. I can play on my TV. I can, so. But anyway, slowly for surely, people's gonna learn more about Stadia and cloud gaming overall, right?
Hopefully, if Google does some advertising or they're just relying on people to whisper to other people, I don't know what they're doing there, but
Yeah, and I noticed like a few article and video that people are wondering what's going on because they think that Stadia is gonna be failing if Google's not supporting it as much. It's not that Google doesn't support as much as like the marketing is not out there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think they still like take it slow and eventually it's gonna expand like crazy. Um, Stadia is gonna take over console over time. That's an issue. I think we're like 10-year in advance now, so but this should
yeah.
be good. All right, moving on. I wanted to talk about Lee's article there on what you would like to see from Stadia. There's like a couple things I really like about that. You mentioned about games. Yes, obviously, we'd like to see more AAA games. I think Google is working on that. They've been pushing job. There's some job you can take over to help develop more AAA game that develop, but like get the game transfer into Stadia, so AAA games. So hopefully we're gonna see more like a newer developer coming out with their game on Stadia. I think as the population expand, there's going to be more attractive way to get the publisher to like come to Stadia. So, and we start seeing it more and more coming up the next little while. I know sometimes like some game get released a little bit late in Stadia, but at least we get the game, and sometime it release the same day as all other console. And the good thing about us is that you don't have to download. You just press click to play. And where other console, talking with a few people that play Xbox, they're like, oh yeah, when this game come out, I always have to leave my Xbox plugin turned on overnight so I can download the game. And it's like, oh geez, yeah, I don't remember doing that. But yeah, that's one of the thing. Games I also mentioned to expand the hardware. So yes, the hardware is 2 years old. It's still run a lot of the game, no issue. I think it would still be good if they upgrade the hardware because I know like on the initial display they were talking about upgrading to 8K and upgrade like to 120 FPS and so on and so forth. There's already some game running 120 FPS out there. I would like to see that maybe coming to Stadia. I noticed that if you play 4K, some games don't run 60 FPS.
Well,
Like Far Cry 6 only run 30 FPS at 4K. But if you run 1080p, it runs 60 FPS. So little things like that, right?
Stadia does have a game running at 120 FPS actually. One title that I
Oh,
know
there you
of.
go.
It's the Monster Boy in Monster World.
Oh,
Whatever
okay,
boy in
okay.
Monster World that's running at 120 FPS. I don't know
Oh,
why. I don't know, maybe just because they did it, but
Yeah,
it does
maybe.
work on the Stadia stuff.
Oh, okay, so I wasn't aware you can run IR. So then it's only the games. The games need to make it allowed to run 120 FPS.
Yeah, this whole tool thing that Stadia was going to give to developers, like I don't understand when it's being used. Is it being used now? Like it should
I'm
be
pretty
easy.
sure it's similar to like I used to modify my phone previously a lot, and you can download the Android tool, and you basically have all the coding to modify apps or create apps or modify the development tool they talk. Yeah. So they probably came out with development tool for Stadia, which is all like the data, the information, the source, and people can use that to develop their games. Similar to the phone, the development tool was made so people can create their app and put it on the Google Play Store. So hopefully that's easy for people to use because it's not that easy. It's like a kind of complicated system a little bit, but hopefully, yeah, it's gonna make things easier for them to use. I don't know why certain game only come out like I say for Far Cry 6, 30 FPS 4K. Don't get me wrong, the game looks great no matter what. It's just like why they couldn't put it 60 FPS 4K. Is that because they think the game is too demanding and it's not gonna work with like Stadia? Like looking at some of the games they released on Stadia, they run as well as a console. I think some developer think that Stadia is not strong enough to support those high-end graphics. So, but who knows? Um, Maybe we're gonna see in the future what's gonna happen because so far, maybe every 3 years they're gonna change their hardware. They're gonna upgrade. I think it's just not gonna change. It's just gonna upgrade. Maybe certain game, maybe they're gonna be more demanding. It's gonna be going to a specific server with like the higher end graphics. Where like if you play a game like Terraria, it doesn't require as much demand graphically, right? It demand more RAM or more like processing power. So I don't know like how it is set up within the server, but like I'm more speculating now. So
Yeah, I think it's just a bunch of monkeys on typewriters.
yeah, that looks like it.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, so was there more things that he touched on there?
there's more you touched on, but like that was pretty much the two main thing I wanted to talk about is the um the games and the hardware. I know he talks about having more platform support, so like TV, different brands gonna have access. I think we up to 6 or 7 brand that have access to Stadia, if I'm right. I know there TCL, Samsung, LG, and there's like a couple other name that I like Chinese name, I think brand. I'm not exactly sure, but like they're slowly like opening up. You can still get a Chromecast, the one with Google TV on it. Try to get the Chromecast Ultra for a gift, and it's all sold out in Canada. I still don't know why they're still advertising it. Like if it's sold out, just remove it from there. Just get people to buy the Google TV with Chromecast.
Yeah.
Um, Hardware wise, it's like a bit more powerful too. So, but yeah. And I think the main other thing was maybe the interface. I would like to see the interface changing slightly. One thing I noticed when I was playing Bloodstain was the achievement. I couldn't go see the achievement list unless I'm outside the game. And I
Yeah.
think it's the same issue for like on the Chromecast.
Okay.
It's kind of annoying. Maybe it's me who doesn't know how to access it, but I know if you click on your icon, then you can go see your achievement. They should be able to access that afterwards, right? Or even change the graphic. Sorry, change the graphic from, let's say if you're playing at 4K, like the other day we play 9 to 5 at 4K is still buggy, even after all the update.
Oh yeah.
If I could have been able to reduce it to 1080p in the middle of the game, that would be great. I don't know how much is needed to be done. Maybe it's like more at the end of the day, you need to come out of the game to restart it, just so you can attach a different server for that. Not
Mm-hmm.
sure, but yeah, definitely the UI of the Stadia can change, upgrade a little bit more. That would be nice. Um, Talking of which, the Explore tab has changed a little bit. They added like a trending now. It's not working yet. I think for me, it just come up, but there's nothing showing. But like, I guess we're gonna see that happening more in the next little while. I think it's gonna show like trending game right now on Stadia. But yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
This
see
will
it on
improve it.
mine.
It's only available on the browser apparently, but
Yeah,
who
I'm on
knows?
the browser right
Oh,
now.
okay. I had the little window popping up before, but now it's not showing. But yeah,
I'm sure they'll
hopefully,
get it out there.
yeah, they're probably gonna have like little feature adding up like this, but hopefully we're gonna have more at the end of the day.
Probably for the next blog post, they'll put it up.
Yeah, probably they're gonna put like similar to last year what they did. They put like a list of items they're gonna add within the UI or within Stadia. Maybe they're gonna do the same thing this year. They're just gonna enumerate like all the item they want to change or they want to add to Stadia, maybe newer feature, newer hardware, like who knows, like maybe a new controller, a new color. I wouldn't mind having any other controller, but I've
Oh,
been using mouse and
trending. It's like halfway down the list. I don't know. It should be at the top.
oh, I thought it was at the top. Really? They move it
And
to
none of these games seem like trending games. The first game is Tohu, then Jack in the Box Party 6 and 7, Adam's Family, Gardens Between, Jack in the Box 8, PJ's Hero, Split Links, Ben 10, and Spiritfarer. I feel like these are not the most trending
uh,
games on Stadia, but I could
uh,
be wrong.
I don't really see them. There's a lot of oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. What's Tohu?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I can give you it's a lot of kids game from the look of it.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, well, it's a new feature. I guess maybe like over time the trending is gonna go like I don't know, it's gonna be a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Other than that, 9 to 5 Google put they talk about the December
Oh
save
wow.
point. Is that right?
So right underneath trending, I have a picture from Nad614 and it's the boss damage from where you posted on you doing almost 4 million and Bliss doing 500,000 and then the
Yeah,
other guy
with
doing
his friend.
80. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Funny one to come up.
I know. I decided to post that because it was funny.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the latest posts I had. Yeah. Yeah, just to go back 9 to 5 Google, just go over the December save point about like what came, what's on Pro. Um,
Yeah, they
yeah,
release those save points every month, and it's just kind of
yeah,
like a look back at what they did, sort
exactly.
of what we talked about on our December podcast.
And the main thing was the fact that the Explore tab had the trend in view. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing was Far Cry 6 got the new Pagan Control DLC coming out on January 11, which is another addition. Like you play one of the character from playing like the boss from I want to say Far Cry 4. Not exactly sure. It's just like a little mission or a little activity. You can get some different thing there,
Cool.
and that's pretty much it, really. There's not that much more. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, Everyone, I guess we'll close it off here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like the video and notification bell. You'll want to click that for alerts when our podcast hits the air on YouTube, if that's where you're watching this. Leave a comment. Tell us about Stadia in your gaming life. And you can find the Stadia Party Chat podcast, the audio version of our podcast, on Anchor, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Google Pocket Cast, and anywhere you find podcasts. Shout out to our new sponsors. Thank you, as always, Stadia Source, 9 to 5 Google. Did we use anybody else today? I don't think so. There wasn't much
Yeah.
news.
There's not much news, but you had the other thing. We forgot about the GRIME news there.
Oh,
There's
the
a
Grime news. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Oh, sorry. That's all out of whack there. But Grime news. So I was doing some tweeting because I like Grime so much. And I was talking to, or I tweeted out to the, what is it? Producer and director of Grime, Yarden Weisbrot. Let's see what his position here. Director and producer of the video game Grime. So he was doing some tweeting about a new ad, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. What's going on here? Is there like new DLC?" And he replied, "Yeah, and it's going to be pretty damn big. We're not ready to share the exact details just yet, but it's going to have new bosses, weapons, enemies, abilities, and a lot more. So gonna keep my eyes glued to that. Definitely a big one. Yeah, I love Grime a lot. And it's a pretty awesome game. I suggest it and recommend it to anybody out there. Nads, you gotta get onto Grime.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next game.
I mean, if you liked Bloodstain, it's
Yeah.
just, oh, it's so much better in terms of like I don't know, the satisfaction you felt when you beat the raid that first time. I feel like it's like you get that same satisfaction beating every one of these bosses because you know it's incredibly difficult and you mastered it. I just feel like it's that kind of rewarding game.
Well,
But
maybe I'm gonna be playing that in between Far Cry. When I get bored of Far Cry, I'll jump on that.
yeah, I could not recommend it enough.
Definitely.
Yeah, so look out for more news on the DLC on that should be coming up. So cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for
hopefully
reminding me.
soon. Yeah, no problem. I know we're closing or using a closing statement, but yeah, Grime definitely something good news there. I don't know if it's gonna be a side quest or it's gonna be a continuity of the story. Is it gonna be available like for new player, or it's gonna be that after you finish the story? Who knows, right? So hopefully we get more news on that
Well,
soon.
no spoilers, but
No spoiler.
it can't be after. Well, I don't know. Well, you play Grime. Play Grime.
Yeah.
So that's the news for this week. We thank you for tuning in and hearing our thoughts on the news. Look forward to sharing more in the future. As always, I'm Ricardo, giving you my perspective on the cloud, and my co-host, Sebastian.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys inside the Stadia if you're around. Join us for any gameplay or anything like that.
Hit us up. All right. Take care,
And
everybody.
see you guys next week.
Bye.